First set, B.Paire to serve. Ready, play.
And he's got a heck of a backhand, I'm telling you, this guy. He really has.
15-love.
Well, this is a beautiful little bit of serve and volley from R.Federer.
Trying to put some meat on the bones to that particular statement in case people don't know who
Well,
Gerard
I think he
Piqué
looks
is.
exactly like him. Are you not giving me that one?
Absolutely.
Looks very much like
Just
Gerard.
inform people who Gerard Piqué is.
Of course, one of the best defenders in the world. Used to play for Man United. Now he's a central defender for Barcelona. Plays on the Spanish national team as well. In fact, one of our Twitter followers, Mark and Rowe, was suggesting that his wife thinks that Paire is the best looking guy on tour right now. We'll have to ask a few more of the female listeners out there what they think of that statement. So, some tough company. There we go. There's one for the camera. Ladies, let us know. At Rob Koenig Tennis.
At Nick Lester.
And of course, going into quarter-final match. First trivia question of the evening is about Federer's record in the quarterfinals here in Basel. He's 9-1 lifetime in quarterfinal matches here. Who was his lone loss against? That is the first question of the evening. Federer 9-1 lifetime in quarterfinal matches here. Who was his lone loss against? This guy's a character as well. You're going to see some funny stuff unfold on the court today. Just like most Frenchmen, never shy to wear his emotions and feelings on his sleeve.
Tennis runs in the blood as well of the Paire family. His brother's actually a full-time tennis coach. Father introduced him to the game. It's a funky sort of backhand as well, isn't it? It's very effective, but it's quite loose.
40-15.
When you say funky, you don't like the style? Do you think it's not smooth?
I just think it's a little different, isn't it?
Keep a beady eye on the technique next couple of games. Give you some of my thoughts. This guy's technique's not bad.
1 game off.
It's honed at the Old Boys Club just down the road from here. And then moved to Écublens, the academy, outside of a couple of hours away from here. Initially didn't like his lifestyle though. So soon adapted Federer. Peter Lundgren was the man who helped him back then.
Oh, that's beautiful. Little flick of the wrist. I think initially it was Peter Carter.
Peter Carter, of course.
Yeah. Of course, is no longer with us. Bless his soul. Was actually killed in a car accident at a very young age. Affected Federer a lot. Very close to Peter was Roger. Probably would have been Roger's coach for most of his career, you would think.
Last 30.
Yep, whilst driving in South Africa, poles fell off the back of a truck and went straight through the windscreen of the car, and he was killed. Tragic.
A bit of an audacious play in his own backyard. Give the guy a runaround.
This is the kind of stuff you're going to see from Paire. It doesn't matter who's on the other side of the court.
15-50.
He's going to enjoy himself out there. Look at all those little wristy flicks and dinks. He's almost toying with Federer there.
Overcooking that one, and 2 break points
15-14.
for the 5-time champion.
I've got a bit of feedback as regards to B.Paire being the new best-looking guy on tour. There's a tournament director, another Roger Brenvold. Bubbly Nick says, for my money, he's my new Nadal. Very easy on the eye, she says.
Yes.
Poor choice of shot.
And R.Federer.
Third chance for Federer to break. His weight just going the wrong way there, wasn't it? Just fell off that one, and Federer makes a fast start in this quarterfinal.
Well, a couple of ladies got back to us and said, no, definitely Federer. He's the best looking guy on tour. Carol Ann suggests it has to be Deliciano Lopez. She's a big fan of his. And Lauren Howard says to me, your man crush on the soccer player has gone to my head. Paire is cute, but not even close to the most gorgeous. Man crush is certainly not coming from me, Lauren. Plenty out there who are a big fan of the Frenchman at the moment.
Well, it's been quite some year, hasn't it, on the tennis circuit. 2012, first time since 2003, in fact, that we've had 4 different major winners. Of course, Andy Murray joining that very elite club. Finally made that breakthrough. One wonders what 2013 has in store. R.Federer's game head as we head into a new year.
Beautiful. Such a lethal combination of shots, that serve and forehand. Of course, I asked you a little earlier, who's the only loss Federer has suffered in the quarterfinals here in Basel. Fair few have got it right. Of course, it was Tim Henman in 1999. Henna's beating him on that occasion. A lot of serving and volleying going on in that match. I remember it all too well.
Game, Federer. Mr. Paire challenge to the call on the left baseline. The ball was called out.
Van Landgraf has already called the game, so
you're not too sure why you would challenge when you're left 40 down. The ball's that far out. It wasn't even close.
Paire has 2 challenges remaining.
oh yes, beautiful, wonderful touch, because that wasn't easy. It just dipped over the net, so Paire had to get it nice and tight here.
15-11.
Look at this little flick from Federer. It brought out the lob wedge for that drop shot.
Federer brings out the driver for that shot.
15 all.
As we said the other day, the last man to beat Federer indoors at a regular ATP Tour event, you have to go back to Gaël Monfils in Bercy a couple of years ago. At a regular ATP Tour event, we stress, indoors.
The way he attacks the ball was Federer. Never waits for the ball to come to him. Of course, by doing it, not only do you take time away from your opponent, but you're able to hit the ball a little harder as well, because you're using the oncoming pace. Ball is travelling slightly quicker.
Have a little too much on it.
Almost a little Paul Annacone chip and charge. Because Annacone shares the coaching duties with Severin Luthi, who's here this week. Actually, Severin's around most weeks. So Paul who dips in and out.
So Paire challenging the call. Left service line. The ball was called here. Ball is overturned. Choose.
Be one of the longest swallows you've had of the day. slowest shot of it ended up winning in the rally.
Advantage Federer.
Wonderful variety. Never lets you settle into a rhythm, does Federer.
Juice.
I see what you mean by the backhand. Got a good look at it now. Reminds me a little bit of Magnus Gustafsson,
Advantage Federer.
where the head moves quite vigorously when he hits it. It's also very closed when he takes it back.
That's one thing I've always admired about the French, in terms of just the variety of the players they have. Each one has their own individual personality. Yes, they're a little bit flaky at times between the ears, but rarely do you get two French. You can't really pigeonhole the French style, can you, so much?
Yeah.
And I think that's credit to the system they have over there. They don't force you into playing a way that necessarily isn't your way. Coaches are very guilty of that at times. Certain junior coaches, they're guilty of
Over-coaching.
wanting it their way. The best coaches are the ones that are able to understand and get inside the head of the player.
Yeah, and just because the technique may look a little awkward doesn't mean it's not going to be effective. And you've got to have the ability to recognize whether a shot's effective or not. Sure, if you've got rubbish technique and the shot's not effective, then you've got to think about changing it. But if the technique looks a little dodgy, but the shot is highly effective, that's when perhaps you've got to think twice about how much you want to tinker with it.
Juice.
The French system's fantastic. I mean, they have. We talk about this a lot, but the club structure over there is second to none.
I think 6 guys in the top 50, as far as the French tennis players are concerned.
Yeah, just over 1 million licensed players they have in France as well.
Advantage Federer.
Oh, not a good effort. That was deserved down the local club, that particular shot, not here. And it's another chance for Federer.
Oh, good hop. There's a lot of them. When you're 6'6", you still need good athleticism to get to this one. From a neutral stance there, he's done really well. Great use of the wrist to snap around the side of the ball to create the angle. Even Roger appreciates the quality of that shot.
Advantage pair.
Well, he's played plenty of drop shots already. As B.Paire, mixed results, finds himself a breakdown.
3 games to 2. Time.
Mixed results of late. B.Paire, a couple of first rounds in Vienna, where he lost to Lorenzi last week. Tokyo lost first round of Berdych. A couple in Winston-Salem and Washington as well. So just trying to find that consistency at the highest level. It's going to be the next challenge.
15-11.
Just lost the 1 point so far.
49.
And there's the money one out wide.
That's a little touch of junior status.
And then calling the Artful Roger for nothing.
Or the Wilson wand. Have a pick, can't go wrong. Guy comes inside the ball here and imparts an enormous amount of spin there by taking all the pace off of it and then creating the necessary angle to hit it exactly where he wanted it.
I've seen some stories in the press today that something that we talked about a couple of days ago. So this actually is Federer's last official year here of his contract, and a couple of stories. One of the journalists spoke to a couple of officials here, and they confirmed that negotiations are ongoing and still confirmed as to yet to be confirmed what his plans are for next year. Well, on the face of it, you might say, well, why on earth would he miss a tournament in his hometown? But not quite as simple as that.
I guess it's tough to argue against it, though, because he's never missed this tournament. So why wouldn't he play? There's his camp. There's Severin Ludi, bottom left in the blue shirt. Of course, coach. And there was cup captain here in Switzerland. And, Mum and Dad are here as well this evening. Rob and Lynette. Not in that shot though.
Serve. Paire had barely got out of his motion before he said the wheels were turning.
30-40.
Look at this.
What an angle.
And it's broken in that, and you can understand why. You feel like you have to play out of your socks. And it's 5-2 for Federer here. He's cruising along nicely.
New ball, please.
Just to further that point we were making about the tournament structure at the moment, I had a good chat with a man who pulled the purse strings here for this tournament this morning, and he was saying to me it's becoming increasingly difficult now for players for tournaments in the sort of 500-250 range to afford more than one of the big four, and it's a problem and it's an issue, and he was feeling the frustrations of it. He was saying apart from perhaps the Middle East.
Yep, money is not a problem. But, man on the left is Roger's long-time friend. Of course, used to play junior tennis with him as well. Severin on the right. Rito Staubli is the man on the left.
Time.
So I wondered how this guy would react to this situation this evening. Finds himself in some trouble. 2-5. He throws in the slow ball. Yeah, wasn't able to read it after 28 minutes. It's 3 set points.
$40-15. $40-30.
Okay, for the grandstand finish to the end of this set, Federer. Paire forced in to try and do something a little out of the ordinary. Federer struggled against Bellucci in the previous round. Not so far. It's 6-2.
By 6-2.
Oh, Federer outstanding behind his serve. First serve points won, 11 of 11. And he only lost 3 points behind the second serve. 5 of 8 equals 63%. So Paire unable to make any inroads into Federer's service games. Just a few too many unforced errors as far as the Frenchman is concerned, and you can see that gulf in class between a guy who's just new to the top 50 and somebody who's been enjoying his stay in the penthouse suite of the rankings for over 300 weeks.
So one set down and halfway towards a semi-final meeting with Paul-Henri Mathieu, the wild card here this week.
R.Federer.
A question earlier on. We'll throw you one more while we're at it. So Federer this year has lost to 2 players outside the world's top 20. Who are they? And what tournament? On the Twitter, at Rob Koenig Tennis, at Nick Lester. 2 players outside the top 20 that Federer has lost to this year. At this rate, he won't be making it a third.
Now 14. 15-14.
It's a lame beginning to the second set, and this one's in danger of being a bit of a massacre.
First game, second set.
Yeah, just having a word with his coach.
Of course, never easy though when you're new to the scene and you're taking on a guy with Federer's aura and stature in the game in his own backyard.
first time today. Paire goes for a new stick.
49.
Much to the amusement of the crowd. I think that one might actually have fractured. I suspect he goes through a few in a year. Just a hunch. Oh, well read, B.Paire. He had no chance unless he had an idea where that was going. He did really well here. Knew he was going to be teased. Great dig. R.Federer, Phil, Jimmy Connors. The old round arm. Thanks for getting in touch with your answers. And most of you are spot on. JP Des, Tennis Inside Out, Gary Tennis Addict, and Ian Dunn all been in touch on Twitter. And the correct answer, Roddick in Miami, and the other was Tommy Haas in Halle this year. There is a good stuff. If you can tell me the previous player to beat him, I'll be even more impressed. That's the top 20, because that's a tough one.
Got to go back a fair bit for that still.
Yeah, Leighton Hewitt in Halle, 2010 before that. Amazing levels of consistency.
That's incredible.
Just again, a very sudden injection of pace that Paire just is not alive to. Won't be the first. Certainly won't be the last. Again, he's being taken apart. Even the defensive Federer there, a little lucky, but from there on in, he just stepped on the accelerator, and it's becoming a bit of a hiding, this one. just given that one a little too much. Slice around the outside edge of the ball, and Federer in total command at the set and 3 love.
Federer leads 3 games to love.
Such a good return of serve. It's got no pace on it. Paire has to create everything himself, not only the angle. And of course, try and get a bit of zip off the volley. Because when a ball comes at you that slowly, you can't use any pace. There's nothing on it. Best kind of returns, those. Apart from clean winners, of course. Guys are serving and volleying. That one below the heart of the net with very little pace on it.
Time.
Well, they come to see a match, but probably more they come to see Federer, and that's what they've got here.
I'll tell you why. So a great quote from Federer when I was in Shanghai, and I just want to share it with you. Gives you a great idea as to how Federer views the game of tennis in general. Beautiful shot. This is what Federer said. He says sometimes you're just happy playing. Some people, some media, unfortunately, don't understand that it's okay just to play tennis and enjoy it. They always think you have to win everything. It always needs to be a success story, and if it's not what they want, what is the point? Maybe you have to go back and think, why have I started playing tennis? Because I just like it. It's actually sort of a dream hobby that's become somewhat of a job. Some people don't get that, ever. Wonderful words. Those were from one of the greatest players ever to play the game. And I think a lot of us out there can learn a lot of lessons about what he's just said, how much he enjoys what he does.
It's a lovely slice.
Of course, in response to your question, you've got to give a shout out to Shaheen, who made the good observation that all the players that were outside the top 20 who beat Federer, those three that we were talking about, Nick, were all former world number ones or number two. Good point. So even though they were ranked outside the top 20 when they beat Roger, they certainly had some serious credentials to the name. It's beautiful. Saw Brian Baker do a little bit of that yesterday in his match against Del Potro with a double-handed backhand hitting and coming in.
Paire.
Saving a bit of face, B.Paire here on the board. He trails 4-1 though. And a set.
4-1.
So at the Swiss indoors this week here at the St Jakobshalle in Basel. He has a serious following here. Had a good night for his football team last night. Their FC Basel was a close follower, but didn't happen for them in the Europa League. A loss away from home. Used to play a lot of football, did Federer.
In fact, one of my good friends back from high school days, George Komantarakis, used to play for FC Basel for many years, was a striker here. Had a thoroughly enjoyable stint whilst in Switzerland. And it's been promising that he's going to join me, come and watch this tournament and have a little trip down memory lane. I've told him 2013 is his cut-off. Last chance saloon.
Paire.
That's exactly what it is here as well for B.Paire. He's in the last chance saloon. And the DJ's about to spin the last record as well. Because this is serious trouble here. There's a real test against Thomas Bellucci a couple of nights ago. It really looked touch and go for much of that third set. Bellucci was excellent, but the youngster here has just not found it to his liking.
Lovely team. 'Paire challenging the serve on the right service line. The ball is collapsed.
Yep, good challenge. Two 6-1-5. You don't want to be arguing too much in Basel. Do you?
Well, now he's having a chat with his team.
15-all.
Might get a couple of fans asking you to take a closer look at the scoreboard. Certainly one of the best dressed crowds you'll see around the tennis circuit.
30 off.
You know, they're Lindt chocolate round here. As does the man to my right in the commentary box. In fact, Federer just did a new advert with Lindt. What is numerous sponsors here. Don't sponsor you though, Lindt, just yet.
No, but I tell you what, I'm working on it. Hard.
Yes, that will be down to Rob Koenig Productions on the weekend to try and sort that deal out. For now, we'll focus here because probably just one more game will do it. It's been a pretty simple night's work, really, and difficult for a young man, 23. We're not demeaning him or anything, but he's ambitious as well, and I like that. I think probably came in here tonight thinking he's going to have a go. Maybe just got a little bit ahead of himself, and experience, as we well know, is something you just can't buy.
Yeah, of course, a big stage for him as well. Federer's been here gazillions of times. He's come out on top as well, more often than most. It's a trophy that resembles the Wimbledon trophy in many respects. A little bigger than the trophy at SW19, of which Federer has a fair few of those as well.
Federer on to Paris next week in the same half as Andy Murray. Incidentally, that draw was made a couple of hours ago. Could well face B.Paire as well. They're relatively close as far as the draw is concerned. I think potentially a second opponent for Federer could be Paire in Basel.
Such an accurate serve. Certainly not one of the biggest, but certainly one of the best.
That would have been one for the highlights reel. As it is, it's only 53 minutes. It's a Federer demolition, serving at match point. It's the first time that Roger Federer had faced B.Paire, and it was to his liking this evening. The 23-year-old Frenchman thoroughly shown the way forward. It's a nice embrace, but it's the 5-time champion here, and family didn't really have any concerns over the course of that one because Federer is into the weekend here. A semi-final beckons on Saturday yet again. 2-2. He takes out B.Paire.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed those privileged to have tickets this evening. Too good in every department. Absolutely perfect. Come up with some good stuff this week of those group of people. And when we have a look at the numbers, we'll see that Federer was really dominant behind the serve. Won 24 of those 25 points when the first serve went in. That's the 96% you see there. And plenty of breakpoint opportunities. 12 of those, took 4. Was good enough. And just so much experience as well in big matches. And too much firepower for Paire at the end of the day. But a good week for Paire, making it through to the quarterfinals of such a big event. And of course he's at a career high ranking and he's moving northwards, so plenty of good to take out of this week for Paire, but it's Federer who marches on.
So Federer through, that completes the quartet here this weekend, and he'll face Paul-Henri Mathieu, who will be inside the world's top 65 come Monday after his fantastic week here this week, the wild card, and it's Gasquet and Del Potro. That's a mouth-watering semi-final, isn't it? I look forward to that one. Doesn't look a particularly friendly scene, does it? As the winter closes in here, there's the results of today. Gasquet beating Eugene. What was your match of the day today, Rob?
I'll probably have to say Del Potro Anderson. I was really happy for the way Kevin played. A little disappointed that he wasn't able to pull it through in the end. He's had some close ones of late. He is now with match points, and now Del Potro had his chances from a South African perspective. I would have liked to have seen him do well. Of course, we had some good matches in store for you tomorrow, and this is how the semi-finals are going to line up. Gasquet versus Del Potro will be first up, and then followed by Federer and Mathieu. I think it's going to be Del Potro-Federer final is my call.
I'll be with you on that one. You can catch Rob and myself tomorrow. Stay safe. Bye for now.